Hi, this is Nimla Ratnam. In this video, we are going to discuss circle graph or a pie chart. Now, as the name suggests, it's got to do with the circle. So, what we are going to do is we will be representing the data that is given to us in terms of the fraction of a part of a whole, fraction or part of a whole, right? So, the full circle is going to be the total data, and then the different segments, the different categories are going to be the pies in the circle, right? Therefore, the name pie chart, right? So that is how the data is represented in a circle graph or a pie chart. So as you can see here, they have given a couple of examples. Okay. In the first example, if you see, it is about the time spent by a child during a day. So here, what are we going to do? We are going to, look at all the different activities that the child is undertaking in a particular given day. So we know that in a day you have 24 hours. So you can see here, he or she is sleeping for 8 hours, and then school, it's going to be spending 6 hours, playing 3 hours, and homework 4 hours, and others is 3 hours. So what is the advantage of representing the data in terms of a pie chart is that you will have an understanding of how much is the proportion. Like for example, in a day, you know that you have 24 hours. So when you represent it in pie chart, you know that maximum, chunk of the day is spent in sleeping. That is 1/3. 8 hours is 1/3 of a day, right? So 1/3 of the day is spent in sleeping. You can clearly see that here in the pies. You see that this is the major pie. This is the major chunk. So that is the advantage of representing data in a pie chart. Next example that they have given is age groups of people in a town. So here the categories are age groups. They have defined the age groups as 0 to 14, 15 to 60 and 60 years and above, right? So clearly, you will see that the maximum population in this particular town is in the age group of 15 to 60. Half the population of the town is in the age group 15 to 60. Immediately, as soon as you look at the pie chart, you can immediately draw that conclusion. So you can say that it's a relatively young town, right? And the below 14 years and above 60 years are more or less the same. Okay, they have 1/4 each proportion, right? So that is how we're going to read a pie chart. So these are called circle graphs or pie charts, like I said. Okay, then the most important part here is you're going to look at the parts of a whole. That is all the different categories. You are interested in what is the proportion of a particular category in comparison with the total entire whole, right? So that is about a pie chart. So here, as you can see, a circle graph is also called a pie chart. They have given a couple of try these questions. Let's look at the first one. Each one of the following pie charts in figure 4.2 gives you a different piece of information about your class. Find the fraction of the circle representing each of these information. Now, if you look at the data given to you, you will see that they have given percentage. So, what is the meaning of percentage? You take, out of 100 parts. Like for example, if when you're saying girls is 50%, that means out of 100 parts, 50, 50 parts is girls, 50 parts is boys, right? So now they want the fraction of it. Now simply you're going to say 50% is nothing but 50% is nothing but 50 by 100, which is nothing but 1 by 2. Clearly it is half the circle. Boys is again 50 by 100, which is again 1 by 2, right? So this is how you're going to convert the given pie chart, the different categories into fractions. You have to take the value that they have given divided by total parts. Because in this particular example, they have given percentages, we are going to take the total parts as 100. Okay. So here again, in that particular class, transport to school. So 40% are going by walk. Okay, 40% are going by walk. That means the fraction of students who are going by walk is 40 by 100, which is nothing but 2/5. So this is the fraction. Bus or car is again 40%. So here also I have 2/5. And then 20% are going by cycle. So what is 20%? 20 by 100, which is nothing but 1/5. So now you can see that when you add 2 by 5, 2 by 5 and 1 by 5, you will get the whole, which is 1, right? So this is about converting the percentage into fraction. Now here, love or hate mathematics. So you can see that 15% hate mathematics, right? 15% hate mathematics. That means 15 by 100, which is nothing but 3 by 20. So 3 by 20, 20th of the class hates mathematics. The remaining class loves mathematics. What is the remaining? Like I said, the fractions add up to 1. So you can directly say this is 17 by 20. Or if you look at the percentage, they did not mention, but you know that they have to add up to 100%. So 15, it's hate mathematics. That means that 85% love mathematics. And now if you look at 85 by 100, try to solve it. You will again get 17 by 20, right? The same value as we have got. So now here, it's a pretty good class. I mean, any maths teacher would love a class like this because 85% of the class loves mathematics. It's it's a good news, right? So that is about the first try this question. Next I have answer the following questions based on the pie chart given in figure 4.3. Now what are they saying? Viewers watching different types of channels on TV. So you know that when you switch on the television, you have a lot of options. In fact, now they're actually given in categories. You have to go to the menu and you'll have different categories, and each category you will have different many options, many channels under each category, like sports or education and news, music, entertainment, and so on. So now here they're saying that 50% of the viewers watch entertainment, 25% watch sports, 15% watch news, and 10% watch informative. Informative in the sense, something related to like National Geographic, the science and history, everything that is related to education, that is informative category. Now from this graph, they're asking us which type of programs are viewed the most. Now here clearly you can see, I mean, it's very obvious that entertainment is most watched. Okay, so you can say that the answer here is entertainment. That is, half the viewers are watching entertainment, right? Which is quite expected also. You switch on a TV just to relax and you watch entertainment. And I think now now you're understanding slowly that the kind of data what kind of data we usually represent in a pie chart when we are trying to compare a category with its whole. That is, out of all the viewers, how many are watching entertainment? Half of the viewers, right? So that is that kind of questions can be answered very easily and very intuitively using pie charts. Which two types of programs have number of viewers equal to those watching sports? Now, first of all, what is the number of viewers watching sports? 25%, right? So which two other categories do I have to look together to get the same as 25%? Clearly entertainment is out of the question because that itself is 50, and adding something to it to get 25 is out of the question. So if you see here, news and informative, you can see that 15 plus 10 is going to give you 25. Therefore, you can say that which two types are those? News and entertainment. Sorry, news and informative. Okay, together have the same number of viewers as sports. Sports is 1/4. Okay, and news and entertainment together is 1/4. Entertainment is half. News and informative together is 1/4. Entertainment is half. When you add all these four categories, you will get the entire whole as 1, right? Now, how do you draw a pie chart? Let us look at an example. The favorite flavors of ice creams for the students of a school is given in percentages as follows. Chocolate, vanilla and other flavors. Chocolate is preferred by 50%, vanilla is preferred by 25% and other flavors by 25%. Now I have to represent this data using a pie chart. Now whenever you are asked to represent data using a pie chart, first thing you are going to do is you need to convert each category into the corresponding angle in your circle. That is, for example, here the information is given in terms of percentage. When I say 50%, I am talking about, when I say 50%, I am talking about 50 out of whole 100, because percentage is out of 100, which is nothing but half. Okay. And when I am saying 25%, I mean 25 out of 100, which is nothing but 1/4. Again here 25 by 100, 1/4, right? So these are the fractions. So first you will find out the fractions. Okay, you will write the first column is going to be the category. Next you will write whatever, in whichever format the data is given, either the numbers or the percentages, and you are going to find out the fraction from that. Okay, after you find the fraction, the next column is going to be your angle. So half out of, what is a full angle in a circle? 360 degrees, right? So half of 360 is 180. Okay, 1/4 of 360 is 90, and also here also it is 90. Why are we doing this? Because now I want to represent the data in pie chart form. That means that I'm going to draw a circle of convenient radius and I need the angle made by each of these pies, right? That angle is directly related to the fraction of that particular category when compared to total. So that is why we first calculate the fraction and then we calculate the corresponding angle, okay? And then once you have these angles with you, this table is, you definitely need to form this table first and then we'll move on to the pie chart. And one more thing, when you're drawing the pie chart, please make sure that you use the compass. Don't use any circle object like a bottle cap or a bangle or something, because then you wouldn't be knowing the center of that circle, and we need the center of this circle because you're going to get all the sectors or the pies of this circle from that center using these angles that we have calculated. So for a pie chart, you definitely need the compass. Okay. So as you can see, that's what he has done. Fractions and then the angle. So you will draw the circle and you're going to draw the corresponding angles, sectors, different sectors, and you will name them. You will name them. If the place inside is not sufficient, you can simply put an arrow mark and name it outside also, right? So that is about drawing a pie chart. Now they have given an example. A joining pie chart figure 4.4 gives the expenditure in percentage on various items and savings of a family during a month. Now the first question is, you can see the pie chart. If you see, there are different types of categories of expenditure that a family goes through in a given month. So first you spend on food and then clothes, then some savings, right, and education, house rent, transport, and then there are few miscellaneous others, right? So now the first question they're asking is, on which item is expenditure the maximum? So naturally we have to look at the size of the pie. So the largest pie here is food. So the maximum expenditure is on food. Expenditure on which item is equal to the total savings of the family. So total savings of the family is 15%. Which other category has 15% expenditure is what they're asking. So here you can look at these percentages. You will see that education is taking up 15% of the income. Therefore, the answer here is, so here it is food and here it is education, right? Next, if the monthly savings of the family is 3,000 rupees, what is the monthly expenditure on clothes? Now here, so far, they haven't given the information as to what is the monthly salary. We just know that whatever is the monthly salary, the proportion of it spent on each category is given to us, right? Now, for the first time, they're mentioning amount. Okay, they're saying that savings is 3,000. If 15% is 3,000, then can you calculate the monthly salary? So what I'm saying is, if you use the unitary method here, okay, out of total 100, 15% is the salary, right? So if 3,000 is the amount here, okay, let me write it the other way around. 15 out of 100, then 3,000 rupees is equivalent to how much? You can say that this is 100 by 15 into 3,000, right? Which is nothing but 20,000. So you can conclude that the monthly salary is actually 20,000. Now they're saying what is the expenditure on clothes? We know that clothes is 10%. Clothes is 10% of the salary. So what is 10% of 20,000? It is nothing but 2,000. So what is the expenditure on clothes? It is 2,000, right? So that is how you will be calculating. So this is the solved example. The next solved example, they're saying on a particular day, the sales in rupees of different items of a baker's shop are given below. So for ordinary bread 320 rupees, fruit bread 80, cakes and pastries 160, biscuits 120, and others is 40. Now the total is given as 720. Now they're saying draw a pie chart for this data. Now I want you to notice that whenever you have in the data that is given to you, if whenever you see that the total is given to you, okay, or whenever you see that the total happens to be like 24 hours in a day or 365 days in a year or something like that, usually you have to think about, is pie chart the best possible option of representing this data. Okay, so let's draw this pie chart. I'll use the Excel sheet here. So here actually, because it's not given in the table format, I'm unable to copy it. So I have entered all the data that is given in the Excel sheet. Okay, so this is the data, right? Now here I'm going to select this data and insert the pie chart, right? So you can see here, this is the pie chart, right? Okay, so here you can see that the blue is the ordinary bread. It is written over here at the bottom, right? So naturally, ordinary bread is the maximum sales are in the ordinary bread, which is expected also. Next we have, right, next you have fruit bread, right? Fruit bread is not okay, not the next maximum demand. And then cakes and pastries, which is a little higher, and then I have biscuits, and then I have the others. Now here they have selected the data, and although I did not show you the calculation of the fractions and then the angle, that is being done at the background for this, because that is how you're going to get the pie chart. You have to calculate. So you will be drawing the table where after this column you will have column that has the fraction like 320 by 720, 80 by 720, and so on. After calculating the fraction, you have to multiply each fraction in the fourth column with 360 degrees, and you will get these values in degrees. Okay, here it's given in percentage, and you can also have these values in degrees. The only option they have given is percentage. Let me quickly calculate the let us quickly calculate the degree, because we need that in order to solve this question in the exam. You need the degree, right? So I need the total first. The next column is going to be the fraction. Okay, right? And then I'm going to have, see here I've got the fractions, right? Now from this I'm going to calculate the angle. Okay, so here I have, right, this is the angle. So converting it, right? So what we have done here is take the fraction and multiply it with 360 degrees. You're going to get, so these are the angles over here. So you can see this blue chunk of ordinary bread is actually 160 degrees. Okay, you can see it is very close to a straight line semicircle, but a little less than that. It's 160 degrees. Next, the fruit bread is 40 degrees and cakes and pastries is 80 degrees, right? And the biscuits is 60 degrees and others is 20 degrees. Now you can add up the total and see you're going to get 360 degrees, right? So that is about this example. Okay, let us look at their solution. So here they have given, they have done the fractions and the angles as we have done, and then they'll get the pie chart, right? So this is about the solved example. So from the pie chart here, what can you conclude? Like I already told you, you can conclude that the maximum sales are in ordinary bread, which is expected because it's a daily necessity kind of a thing. Whereas when it comes to other categories like biscuits, fruit, bread, they're not, we don't consume them on a daily basis. So their proportion is relatively less compared to ordinary bread, right? So that is the solved example. Next, let's look at this, try this question. They're saying draw a pie chart of the data given below, the time spent by a child during a day. Okay, very similar to the solved example that they have given to us initially. 8 hours, 6 hours, homework 4 hours, play 4 hours and others 2 hours. Okay, it's very similar to that. Let us check that. So if you look at the example they have given right in the beginning, see, 8 hours in sleeping, 6 hours, a little bit difference here. It's 4 and 2. Otherwise, the play hours is 4 and others is 2. Homework 4 hours. It's the same thing. But let's do this because we have to form the table. Okay, we'll understand the steps if we do the sum. Okay, let's look at the sum. So here you can see this is the data that we have, right? Now let us name it also, like this column is the category. Okay, this is time spent in hours, right? So you can write here time spent in hours. Okay, and then I have, what are we going to do now? We will be using this and calculating the fraction. Okay, we will be calculating the fraction here. Okay, and in order to calculate the fraction, you know that the total amount of time you have in a day is 24 hours. You can just check, it is going to be 24 hours. So what do you mean by fraction? You have to take this 8 hours and divide it by the total, which is 24, right? And then you will get the fraction. So here I'm going to change the format. So I've changed the format. You can say you can see that you've got the fraction. Now that I have the fraction with me, what are we going to do? We will be looking at the angle, in the corresponding angle in your pie chart, right? What is the corresponding angle in the pie chart? Simply, you have to multiply this fraction by, what is the total angle in a full circle? 360 degrees. So I have to multiply it by 360 and we have the answer, right? So you can see that for sleeping you have 120 degrees angle, for school you have 90, and for homework 60 degree, playing 60 and others is 30. Now let us insert the pie chart here. Let us see how it looks. So here is my pie chart, right? You can cross check with the the chart they have given in the example, because it has to be very similar except the play and the others part. Rest everything should look very similar. Okay, so this is your pie chart. Here they have given percentages, right? And you can see that this is sleeping. Okay, this is the major chunk. After that is 6 hours spent in school, and after that the major part is these two are equal quite naturally, because here you have 4 hours and 4 hours. So you will have equal time spent on homework and play, and then the others is the remaining 8% or the remaining 30 degrees. Okay. So this is about the try these question. Now coming to think, discuss and write. They have given which form of the graph would be appropriate to display the following data. Okay, so if you look at the first one, they have given production of food grains of a state. They have given it for 6 years starting 2001 to 2006, and they have given the production in lakh tons of each for each year, right? So here, whenever you see a timeline, that is, a data is given year on year or month on month or day by day, or continuous time scale, usually it is going to be a bar graph or a line graph that you will be learning later on. So here in this case, you have different years and the production of each year. So clearly bar graph is going to be relevant here, and it is going to give you information as to how year on year whether the production is going down or going up, which year the production is maximum, and then you can analyze based on your observations, what is the possible reason for maximum production or minimum production. Was it the weather conditions or any new techniques of farming that were used in that particular state for that particular year, and so on, right? So here your answer is going to be, for the first one, I want to use the bar graph. Let us look at that bar graph also, in fact. Okay, they didn't ask us to draw the bar graph, but let us quickly look at it. So I have this information. Okay, I'm going to look at the Excel sheet. So here I have the information. Let us look at the bar graph for this. So here you can see sorry, earlier it took it as a double bar graph. Now here you can see yeah, here you have the bar graph. It's taking horizontal bars because the data is given in that way. Okay, you can see that the data is being represented year on year. So the green, the blue one is 2001, right? And so on. The same can be, if I change the data, let me do that, you will get the normal bar graph that we see. So here, let me select the data one more time because I don't want horizontal bars, right? So let us look at column, right? So this is what we are looking at, right? Like in the previous video, we've got the bar graph. You have a year on the x-axis 2001 to 2006, and the production on the y-axis. Now here clearly you can say that the production is maximum in 2006 and minimum in 2002, and then you can go on to analyze what could be the reasons and what could be the solutions to increase the production, right? So this is the first question that they have given. Next, let's look at the second one. Now they're saying choice of food for a group of people. So they have a group of people with them. Now they're looking at what is their choice. So they have options as North Indian, South Indian, Chinese, others. Okay, very general classification they have given, and they have the number of people. Now here you can see that they have given the total. Okay, whenever they're mentioning total, or whenever you have total coming up to 24 hours in a day or something, usually you have to think about pie chart. Here you have different categories: North Indian, South Indian, others, and also the total. Okay, so now we are going to say the answer here. What is your preference? We can say pie chart. Okay, let us look at the pie chart quickly. Okay, let me copy the data first. So here I have the data, right? And now I want the pie chart for it. Okay, this is the pie chart, and but I'm going to show you the calculation part as well, how we got this different categories. Here they have given the percentages, but in order to draw the pie chart, again as I mentioned earlier, you need the angles. Okay, so here how do you calculate the fraction? Let me put the heading fraction. Okay, and here I'll be taking this value and dividing by the total, which is 120. So this group of people is 120. So what is the fraction? The fraction is going to be 1/4, 1/3, 1/5, 1/5, so on. Now I want the corresponding angle. Okay, so let us look at the corresponding angle. So it's going to be this fraction into, okay, you have to multiply it by total angle, which is 360. Okay, so this is 90, right? And then I have 120, 75 and 75. Okay, so this is the angle. So as you can see here, okay, what I have done is we have taken the the given data, and then we found out the fraction, and then we found out the corresponding angle, right? And from that we will be drawing this. First we'll draw the circle and then take 90 degrees for North Indian, and then 120 degrees for South Indian, 75 degrees for Chinese, and 75 degrees for others. You will be using your protractor for this, right? So that is how you will construct the pie chart. Here if you can see, these numbers are percentages. Okay, don't get confused, these are percentages that are given here. So you can see that from the pie chart, maximum group of this number of people from this particular group prefer South Indian, and next it is going to be North Indian, which is very close to Chinese and others. Okay, so that is the conclusion that you can draw. Next, let's look at the next example given to us. The daily income of a group, okay, of a factory workers. Daily income, uh, they have given a range over here. Okay, they have given the range 75 to 100 rupees daily income, 75, 100 to 125, so on, 225 to 250, and number of workers that are getting in this particular range, that frequency is given to us. And then they are mentioning total number of workers is 480. Like I said, whenever they mention the total number of workers, usually we are interested in how much percentage of these people or workers are getting in a particular range. Okay, however, here actually the x-axis, which is the daily income, it is a continuous, they've given a range 75 to 100 and then 100 to 125. Usually when you have class intervals like this, it's a histogram that we use, but we haven't introduced it yet. So let's look at the pie chart first, and also look at the bar graph or histogram, and see how the data looks in these two types of representation. So this is the data given to us. Let us look at the pie chart. Okay, so this is how the pie chart is going to look like. Like I said, naturally first you will be finding out the fraction and the angle, corresponding angles, and then this is what you're going to get. Okay, clearly the green is the dark blue is 29%, which is 225 to 250. So the maximum number of wages that we are talking about here, close to 1/3, okay, are getting a daily wage of 225 to 250 and so on, right? So let us look at a bar graph also for this. So I'm going to select the data one more time and insert a bar graph, right? Can you see this? So this is my bar graph for the same data. Okay, right. So here you can see that the maximum height of the bar is for 225 to 250. Here you can see that the maximum uh, the sector with maximum, chunk is the same thing, 225 to 250. And then you will see that the next part here is green, 200 to 225, same thing here, the next one is this. So in this way, but however, like I said, here the x-axis, it's like, it's a continuity, there is a continuity, 75 to 100, 100 to 125 and all. So it can be represented in histogram also or a bar graph also. But it depends on what you are interested in studying about this particular data. So if it is about, comparing, you want to know how much proportion of the people, for example, how many are getting, what is the fraction of these workers that are getting above 200. If they ask a question like that, clearly you can see that in the pie chart, more than half the workers, 29 plus 26% is more than 50%, right? So more than half of the workers are getting above 200. So in order to answer that kind of questions, pie chart is going to be helpful. Like I said, whenever you have total mentioned to you, or total is a standard like, 24 hours a day and so on, usually it is a pie chart for us, okay? But if the questions are like, if you look at where is it decreasing or increasing trends or something like that, then you have to go for a bar graph. So here we are going to answer this question by saying that we would like to look at the pie chart, okay? So here I am going to mention pie chart. For this particular data, we are going to say pie chart is more appropriate, okay? So this is about the pie chart and the pie chart or the circle graph, right? So in the next video, we will be looking, we will be solving exercise 4.1.